water, there's smoke. My father spoke, children, women, men and marines. The fires there fueled the lives of 47 folk. That Union Jack didn't mean much to me. You rescued.
Hi guys, welcome back.
On camera.
Hi guys, thank you for being here today at a special time with Efron. Thanks for inviting us again. Here we are.
At the what time?
Eskwilax hour.
I
spelled it wrong on Instagram. Sorry, you guys. I have sometimes chubby fingers, so I put like 3 different letters at the same time. But today, I'm also here with Angel.
And we're here to interview. Oh, I'm part of the Yeska Interior I Love. And today we're here to interview one of our friend and colleague and photographer, Henry Quintanilla, also known as Hokin.
Yep, that's me.
What up, Henry? Thank you for coming on a little bit last minute,
Yeah.
but you got a taste of kind of the way that we interview and just kind of like, ooh, Fifi.
Oh.
Fifi's here too. She said, why didn't you introduce me? So that's why she said that.
Right.
Fifi's here too.
Sorry, Fifi.
Right.
You saw a little bit of, maybe if you wanted to move to the right a little bit, because in the back we're gonna have some of Henry's work, which is of course his beautiful photography. We've been privileged to, I've been able to model for him, and also Angel has, and it's really, I've really enjoyed the way that you work. It's very fast and precise, but I don't want to talk for your work, but definitely tell us about how you got into photography and why you pursue it right now. Is it part of your hobby, or is it just in general? And sometimes I feel weird asking about, is photography like your hobby, or is it your passion, or is it just like, I just so happen to do it, because it's art, so I don't like to ask people like, oh, like, why did you like that kind of art? Like, why did he pick, spray can or whatever, Sorry,
I understand. For me, I got into photography by just looking at my finger. Like, have you ever looked at something or someone and then the background blurs? Like, I've always wanted to recreate that in a way where it's just not my finger. Like, I wanted it to be about people, I wanted it to be about environments and things of that sort of nature. The way that, say for example, a person wearing pink and is parallel to like a tan background. Like, something like that could sort of bring you into the reality of you being there, like how the colors interacted with each other, not in any other way, shape, or form. And in terms of that, that's how I sort of got into it. I started with just a simple camera. Like, of course, my parents helped me out. Like, I'm not gonna take credit for me buying my own equipment. But yeah, in my nature, that's sort of how I began, just with a simple camera, and it sort of went from there as to how I got interested in photography.
All right. And you would say that despite the fact that you would need to go get proper equipment, go to school, or just focus on certain things, like most people would say, do weddings, do kids pictures, or do portraits, or do landscapes. You went and said, I want to do a sort of journalism kind of photography where you're telling a story, but the story isn't just telling itself, but it's actually showing an image, and that image is showing either color, feeling, or what else would you add to it? Like, what else would you combine your work as a means of what is it that you yourself is inputting into this work?
What I'm putting into the work is, words, language, That's I like communication in terms of that, because it isn't just an image on its own that gives its own meaning. I also like to put like little segments of writing into it so that people can get a general idea of what I'm trying to say. But also in terms of that, I want them to implement their own type of thinking where they think, why did he write that, or why did he take this, and why is the writing parallel to the picture? And yeah, like I know a lot of people, like they look at my photography and they don't really see it as deep. They just think like it's a picture of a person and you know his face is blacked out. Like to me it's more than that. It's like not being able to know what the person looks like, because in honesty we don't really know what anybody looks like until they speak.
Right.
And
or
yeah.
just even having the person be perceived as anybody, you know,
Exactly.
or you perceiving who the person wants, you know, is, you know, giving it a face instead of, you know, blurring out the face. You're allowing someone else to interpret it
Exactly.
in a different way.
And like, because when I say that, it's like you can meet somebody and they could be a total asshole, but you can meet somebody else who looks like an asshole and he's a nice person. That's where the reality of, you know, what is a person becomes blurred, because we constantly look at people as something to be afraid of, but it shouldn't be that way. It should, like, you should be able to talk to the person and know who they are, not know what they look like. And in terms of what I make, a lot of my photos, they don't contain a face. They just contain lights or colors or things like that. And I like that because it brings the character or the protagonist in the photo a sense of direction. It gives them a sense of a mood and things of that nature. And yeah.
That's definitely something that popped out. I like the way that you present your pictures through, right now the way that we mostly present our pictures is through Instagram, right?
Yeah.
And in your stories, like you put all the pictures and it tells a story and you're like, have a nice day. I'm like, yeah, that's tight. It's like we just read a little picture story, you know? So it's really nice. It's kind of like a form of communication that you do visually and through words, you know?
Yeah.
Do you see yourself extending from just, you know, doing it just on social media to, you know, building like a Tumblr or like a, you know, ecstasy where you could just allow your audience or, you know, a couple of people that, you know, admire your work to be able to, you know, play with these images, move them around, or just be able to just see their own story through it? Are you planning to expand on your photography, as in just, you know, taking pictures and just hoping, you know, you get an audience, you know, build up?
I mean, I'm hoping that someday I could do that, but right now I'm just trying to focus on making things. Because yeah, like if say for example I make a Tumblr or other social media, that brings me into more problems. I used to have apps like Flickr and things like that where I can upload the photos, but the problem with that is that you don't really get traffic unless you get featured or whatever that means, like you get put onto their homepage. And with that, growing is the problem, because what I make isn't necessarily like, it's not portraits, it's not like 20 filters on top of a photo, it's me trying to say something. Yeah. So
your editing just extends to just whatever the camera captures at an extent. Is that what you're saying?
Like, what do you mean?
Like, how much of an editing process do you put into
or
your
is
pictures?
it like you capture it almost naturally?
No, I don't capture most of my photos completely naturally. A lot of my photos, like the one that's displaying,
That's at the beach?
I like to darken it a lot, and so I could bring the mystery back into the photo, or that photo. Like,
I like it.
I went through, say, like a 30-minute process just blacking everybody out, because I didn't want to know what they looked like. It sort of ruined the photo for me. But I liked the way that the person was standing in the middle and everybody around them was just darkened out. And like that, for me, brings a story in on its own. I haven't put that up on my Instagram myself, so there's no like story to it. But for this photo, to me, just looking at it, someone can make something of it on its own.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Right.
It's like the kind of work that Angel does. Today is kind of like a 420 friendly episode. I mean, I know you guys have very specific episodes sometimes, but I appreciate being able to host a 420 friendly with the buddies and a wonderful artist and friend Angel.
And today everybody's gonna be able to, put a little piece of artwork
on the canvas.
On the canvas.
Yeah, so that's gonna be cool. We have kind of like a kick it live session here.
Plus, this will be a preview, so anybody out there that's watching, any other artist that wants to, come down and have like an ongoing, collaboration where it's like you just add on to the piece until you finally, see a combination of work put together by various artists.
Yeah.
No eraser, no, you
can paint over something you painted.
Yeah, but
Just
other
kidding.
than that, just keep the pen flowing and make a bigger piece.
A collab.
But,
yeah, today.
It's like the preview of it, right?
This is it. I'm like,
This is
It's live.
This is live. You gotta see it live.
Let me see. There was, I feel like I really liked the way it reminded me of Angel's work. Oh, that was the point that I was on. That in his sketchbook, I don't know if you brought it with you, but in your sketchbook, it's right here. He draws on a blank piece of paper, and then there was like an artist that told me one time, like, oh, tell him to draw like around it, But Angel likes to just like he'll like darken it, and then he'll like focus on like a specific thing, or I don't know, maybe it's just me talking about it, but like I like the way that you guys do like a contrast of colors and then create like a story with it. So it's something that popped out also. I don't know if I do that with anything. I mean, sometimes like with Yeska Interior Love, when we make plants, we do kind of put contrasting colors together. Like the dirt is brown, and when you put water on the dirt, it's even darker. So then you want to find a specific plant that won't also be dark, so it's just like it won't pop out, Like, well, what can we do to make it stand out? We'll put some sand on top, or we'll make a lighter plant. So, I mean, I guess I'm pointing that out because I like the way that we can like manipulate light and
The light source.
the light sources, to create stories and give us a whole nother light and life,
Kind of visionary.
like
aspect
this
of-
one. Oh, we missed out, but like you
know
would
what-
think you would pay attention to everything around it, like what's happening, but really it's like it's something simple, like they're covering from water, and I like it. It's really nice. I hope you guys could see the images. I mean, of course you could see them live on his Instagram if you follow him.
Right. And what was?
Or if
what
you
was the
book him.
What was the Instagram's name? It was _HOKIN, right?
Yeah.
Hokin.
Yeah.
Hokin.
Okay.
Okay. And it's
I'm
on
over
the
here.
screen, so you can see Josie's interviews. Oh, look, Josie.
But yeah, like when I take photographs, I try to find a different environment. Like if I were to take a picture of you guys right here in terms of art, not for the show,
Yeah.
I would like the shadows under you, I would just bump that like really low. And that's what I pretty much do with like all of my photos at least the ones I put on Instagram. The photos that I usually trash, those are the ones that I don't do too much to. But the photos, that I keep, I like the differentiation between contrast and brightness, because when you walk in public, like that's all you see, just especially around noon, like that's all you see, just the golden light hitting, just a mailbox, and then you see this really dark black shadow.
Right.
And in terms of that, like I wouldn't even have to do anything. I would just have to lower the shadows and then I'm good. But like with these photos, like a lot of them were a little more difficult to handle because I myself had to put in the shadows that already existed. So say for example, like the shadows underneath us, I would have to manually perfect them so that I could get the straight lines, I could get the curves and everything. I can't necessarily work if, the shadows are sloppy, let's say.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you've got a shadow here and then there, that's gonna be like too much for me. And it's not only that, it's like knowing the median of shadows, because if you make it too dark, it's unrealistic. If you make it less than faded, it's gonna look like, it's not gonna look, it's gonna be artificial basically. And I want it to look like it's real, but it's not real.
Yeah, it does. You're right. It does give that kind of tone to it.
The notion.
That
Right.
notion.
And also, it also plays with the concept of the eye. Like, is that light source? Where is the light source coming from, and how is the light source, being manipulated into being there? Like, what covered it in order for it to give it that lighting effect?
Yeah, exactly.
So it does, it does wander, like make you wonder on how each, is it just like a pattern wise, if it's a structural thing, like where you're trying to give it a shape or so, it's all of it, plays into a perception.
Yeah.
Like, I often like to work a lot with horizontal lines, as
Like
you can
those?
see in the background and the photo there. Like, and this one as well.
That one has the low.
Yeah, like that works a lot for me because, I mean, not only is it simple, but it's just like a one-way cross. It's not like 20 shapes in one photo. It's like you're realizing the color. Like, as for the background, like all you can see is the sign, the person standing there, the blue in the background, and then the red line across them. Simple. You don't have to overcomplicate your photo to make it good. And yeah, like that's basically the premise of what I'm trying to make. Not exactly something complicated, something we can understand. And yeah, when we ourselves view it, we don't really give it that meaning, because it's just like, oh, you just bumped up the contrast. Like, no, that's not all it is. It's, you don't know who the person is. This isn't a portrait. This is a silhouette. This is, this is somebody you don't know. This is somebody you could be scared of. This is somebody who could be a friend. Could be a family member. It could be anybody.
It's kind of like having a picture, but also adding a stencil to it.
Yeah.
And that stencil is a person, individual, or just the shape that you were trying to blur out. It's like putting an image, putting a background, and then putting the stencil on top of it just to tell more of a story.
Exactly. Like, if that person hadn't have been in the photo, that could have just been like a trash shot. But like you said, like if it's like a stencil, you can put whatever you want on it.
Right.
I could put holding a balloon or something,
Right.
and it's like it'll change in meaning.
Right. Because also color does play a big part in photography.
Yeah.
Just meeting a lot of photographers that do use color, and photographers that just move their transition from black and white, or been on black and white, or just go from film to digital, or digital to film, or just digital to just expanding to a black and white audience. It all plays a big major role. Everybody says, or everybody wants you to put color into everything, because it brightens it up. It undulls it. You know what I mean? And that's one of the points that she brought up with explaining my artwork was, and the artist that came about said, why doesn't he play more with the white background? Why don't you add more color? Why did you leave it white? Is it just you ran out of ideas, or you ran out of anything just to fill it in? You know what I mean? It's like getting a tattoo and then just getting different tattoos on top of another, and not feeling it, not connecting it. You could have certain things like those, and you can have segments where you don't need to connect it. You know what I mean? You play with the white. You let the white be whatever background you wanted it to be. But for you, you're playing with the black background. You're playing with the reverse background, with a background that you can eliminate because it's already there. It's stained. You know what I mean? White, you could add it to anything. You know what I mean? I don't know what Josie did.
For example. I mean, I like bringing different artists together, and like you said, like there's more to like the presentation. Like once you get to know each other more, like in the beginning you could see, oh, you know, it's just a picture, but you know, in the back of it, you look more into detail in your profile, and you're like, actually, he used the word writer. He didn't put photographer, you know, or you look at his stories, he doesn't just post pictures up. He says, today this is or something, and then you'll put the picture, and then, oh, you know, we'll have a nice day. That was the story for today, you know. So it's very, there's a lot of communication that's going on, and that's what I really like. I like that part. But I guess it was just, for example, like how I said, everything he leaves like around it, like a different color to make something pop out. Because sometimes I'd be like, you're not done, you know, and he's like, no, I'm done. He's like, I don't really finish my work, but no, as in like, I guess his style is that he doesn't finish the work, but it is already a piece itself, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah, because anybody could come in and add on to it. You know what I mean? And if
But you can still
it,
see what it is, you know.
Anybody could say, you could have added this, you could have added that.
Exactly.
Well, go for it. You know, add to it. You know, I started it. I commenced it.
I guess it's part of life, right? Everybody's gonna start.
But you
something.
can't finish it. Nobody just sits there and says, I'm done with a piece. You know what I mean? It's never done. You know, you can always add to it, or you always go back to a different piece and say, oh well, I'm gonna take the ideas that I had on the other piece and re-add them here, you know, or reshape them, you know, continue adding to it.
Because like that is like the struggle as an artist. Like when you look at your work for too long, it becomes disinteresting, and then you want to work on something else. And like that's especially happened to me a lot with these photographs, because like if I say, for example, I edit one way, I'm gonna look at it for a really long time until I'm satisfied with it. And if I'm not satisfied with it, then it's gone. But that's the thing with what I do, because if I don't like a photograph, then it's gone. But if I do it in a way that I'm satisfied with, then I'm gonna be satisfied with it. Like, and then that's gonna be a part of what I'm trying to make. Like back then, I used to do 3x3s, and those wouldn't be stories, but they would be stories. They would just be a few words, and then it'll say 1 out of 3, 2 out of 3, 3 out of 3. But in terms of what I'm doing now, I want to confuse people, because I'm no longer saying if it's a series. I want them to assume it's a series. And
it's continuous.
Exactly.
It just never ends.
And if you like, because like I'm very meticulous about what I make, because I like to, like as we were talking about colors earlier, I like to align my colors. Like when I first started uploading again after a good while.
Did we already ask how long you've been taking pictures for?
Oh, I've been taking pictures for 4 years.
For 4 years?
Yeah,
Oh, okay, that's
almost
nice.
5.
That's nice.
And yeah, like it just started as just something dumb. Like I used to take pictures of like leaves and shit, like just things that were, at the time were insignificant to me. But yeah, now like with what I make, like I try to align with what people see. So if I use like a dull yellow, I want people to realize that those 3 photos were a dull yellow for a reason. If I use black and white, I want them to realize that was black and white for a reason. And then say like right after my black and whites came yellow colors, and you can only assume what the yellow colors were for.
Right.
And that's kind of the purpose of what I'm trying to do, of
Creating a palette.
yeah, making a palette for people to see, for people not only to realize that the color is parallel to the photos, but that what I'm saying is parallel to the color, to the photos, to what I want people to think, to
story,
see and shit. Yeah.
That's tight. I like that. There's more than just one layer of definition to it, you know? And not necessarily do people like have to understand them all, or do you want them to understand it all?
Because
you put a lot of work into it.
I
Yeah.
don't want them to understand it.
Uh-huh.
Because if I give them answers, then they're
Mm-hmm.
gonna live off those answers.
Right.
Because a lot of the time, I like to capture like elderly people,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't like to capture them because they're wrinkly or things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I like to capture them because they've lived through things. You've lived through things. You've lived through things,
Yeah.
and that's the purpose of what I'm making. Not that I photograph old people, but that life is an experience. It's not like you came out here one day and now you're at the Eskwilax show. Like
Right.
you came here for a reason. You came here because you met him. You came here because you want to work with artists,
Yeah.
and like everything's made for an intention. And with what I'm trying to make, it's like I want people to put their own purpose to it. I don't want to give them the purpose.
Yeah.
And that's sort of what it is. Like I want people to read what I write, and then I want them to think for themselves. I don't want to tell them, oh, I went through a bad breakup and this is the reason I did this. No, that's trash. Like I want them to connect what I take and what I write to a point in their lives when they may have gone through something traumatic, whether they may have gone through something exciting and things like that, where they were active about their emotions. They saw the green on the walls. They saw, the lights more. Like I've had a lot of times in my life where like I would just black out. I would be depressed. I would be, life would be black and white. And like I wouldn't focus on my emotions. I wouldn't look at people right. I wouldn't treat them right.
Right.
And like that's happened to me a lot. Like I've treated people that I care about like shit. And like I want people to connect to that. I want people to be conscious about what they think about, who they talk to, and things like that. Like I don't want people to take for granted the fact that they have life.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a picture poem book.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. That's good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, not writing poetry in a sense that you're writing it because you're feeling it, but more of a loosely put sketchbook.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because each drawing or each picture that you're putting up, you're writing, you're consciously taking like a mental note of what everything is about, and how you're gonna play it. But off that, what is your setup on everybody would be asking like, what's your what was it
ISO?
ISO or your settings on how you if you're 35 millimeter, 50 millimeter, what type of structure you use. Like, is it film? Because everybody's confused on that nature. You know what I mean? If it's film, if it's digital, if it's something that you filter.
It looks like it would be filmed too, huh?
Yes, because
That one looks like an introduction to a movie. Like I like the picture that we chose as like your backdrop. It's so simple. It's pretty. It's like
it's a guy with a
you could use it for
waiting at the bus
multiple uses.
Yeah. It's a guy waiting at a bus stop. Like, where to?
He's like facing the bus pole.
You could have seen yourself in that picture. I mean, like, I'm going somewhere. I have my backpack, I have my camera. I'm waiting at the bus because this is my means of transportation. You know what I mean? You could have seen yourself riding a bike. Hey, I have a bike. I could be riding a bike, right?
Because that's what I want you guys to see. Like, where is this person going? Who is this person? Why are they where they're at? How did they get where they're at? Things like that.
And then
So, going back, your settings.
Well, because say for the backdrop, that was shot like at ISO 3200. So that was pretty high. I was still able to get a good amount of detail from it because of the light. I shot that with a manual lens of 58 millimeter. A lot of the shots that are featuring there are shot with a 50 millimeter 1.4, 135 millimeter, a 35 to 80. And yeah.
The language of
Into
photography.
language, photography language. So
Photography.
anybody out there
The
that
math part of it, huh?
Yeah.
I think you gotta be good at math. I mean, I am not really good at this camera, I think. I don't know if I've tried it.
no
Yeah.
Who let me try to play? I don't know.
music
At
feed?
Music Fiend, huh? Music Fiend, our other photographer friend, he has something similar, but it was
He
really
does more
difficult.
film.
Like I would take pictures and they would come out blurry. Actually, also
Heister.
Heister, he has a one that's filmed too, right? And that one was really difficult to take pictures because it looks like it's clear, but then when you took it, it wasn't clear, so I had to focus it more. Like it's like literally like an interaction, kind of like what you have going on with your Instagram, where you're interacting with us.
Yeah.
Like you also interact with your camera. You know, you're like, okay, I gotta get the right setting. It's like the setting would be like the right formula for this specific place. Like it's like everything that you shoot. I don't know, because last time when we were in the car, you were like shooting, and you still got some clear ass pictures, and I was like, how you do that? That was really fast, you know?
But yeah, like when you're in the car, you have to be like at probably 400 because we were in daylight, so I was fine.
They came out so clear, and I was like, those are nice. Like the ones that was right there by our neighborhood, where the señora was like in the block, like selling stuff,
yeah.
and then I think he even got some hands in a car. I don't know, some really cool stuff, and it was really fast. But I
yeah,
was like, yeah.
The way I do that is like, because a lot of people depend on their autofocus. Like I see a lot of people buy like L glass, which is like really thick glass for these cameras and Nikons and shit. And those cameras, they focus really fast. They're really sharp. They're like, they're the top quality cameras. I mean lenses that are above $1,000. And this lens I got from my dad, and like he used to be a photographer as well.
That's awesome.
He shot Nikon film, and
Let me
yeah,
see this. Sorry.
I just asked him if
It's
he.
kind of heavy too.
Yep.
Wow, I didn't know it was heavy.
I asked him if he still used that lens, and he said no, you could keep it. So then I bought an adapter, and then I just put it on, and it's been fine. And yeah, the way I work fast is on the dial of the lens, there's a distance meter. So if I was at say 2 meters, 3 meters, I could get you guys right here, and I wouldn't have to like mess with it so much. Especially in public, that works a lot because I could just let them walk into the photo. I don't have to like
get it.
you know, get them for 20 minutes and you know, be so like nitpicky about it. Like I just have to set it at 7 meters, and then I get them without even having to look.
That's good. I mean, you're good at math. I mean, I would not be able to remember that.
Right.
I'd be like,
Even the type of camera, is it just you're just a Canon person, you would say?
Yeah, I mean,
or it just so happened to be this.
yeah, like the reason I chose Canon is because, you know, like
Or this specific model too, because
yeah, okay. So I first started off with a point and shoot Canon. Then I moved on to a DSLR Canon, which is a Canon XTI. It was a crop frame. And then I got this one because it's full frame. And so again, my parents helped me with this. And yeah, like my dad, you know, he recommended me a Mark II, Mark III, Mark IV. And I said, fuck that. Like, I don't need to spend $500 to $1,000 on some video and megapixels. Like, this was fine for me because it was full frame. It was 12.1 megapixels, and I was fine. I don't need video. I don't need any of that crap. And at the moment, I'm treating it like a film camera because when I bought it, it came with low shutter count. It wasn't too low.
What does that mean?
It means like, say for example, you bought a camera that's super used, and then you shoot like 200 pictures, and then like that, like shit breaks, and yeah, like it's called shutter life. So you yourself have to see like how many shots it has left. So
that's crazy. That's like a car too, huh? With the miles, kind of.
So with this one, like, yeah, that's why I'm treating it like a film camera so much, because I'm letting people walk into my photo. I'm taking one photo or two, and then I'm gone. I don't have, like, I know people that, yeah, they have autofocus lenses, they have expensive cameras, and they're not even satisfied with like 16 photos of the same place, of the same person, of the same pose. And that really bothers me because it's like, you're the one paying all this money for this camera. Why not be more like, why not be more smart with it? And that's what I'm kind of trying to do with this camera. I'm trying to bring the most out of it that I can with what I spend and with what it has. And yeah.
Nice. Look at, right now we get a kind of close up to your pictures. I like this one. What was this one at? Oh, okay, so Angel's gonna leave us for a bit. Thank you. You're amazing. But where did you get this picture at?
This photo, this was by Staples Center.
At the Staples Center? Oh, okay, so is he going towards LA Live, kind of? Or towards?
No, I think he was to the left of Staples Center and he was just going straight where you guys dropped me off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that way.
Nice.
This one was shot in Chinatown. I got him here with a 135 millimeter.
Nice. What is this?
This one was shot at 50 millimeters with a 35 to 80 millimeter. This one I had to catch him off guard. He was just walking by and I caught him real quick.
I like that one. It's really pretty. Guess I didn't get to. I wonder if all of them are. Sorry.
But yeah, like I really liked how, like I told you, like how clothing and the atmosphere can become parallel. His hat's black, his jacket's black, his face is white, and behind him just straight black and white lines. Like that's what I try my best to go for. Like.
You didn't even ask him to stop, huh? You got
No,
him
I
like
didn't.
that?
I just got him like that.
It looks like you were like, okay, can you stop right here? Let me get these lines. Okay, wait, look this way.
This one was shot at Union Station with a 50 millimeter 1.4. This one wasn't so great, but I do like it because of how he is in shadow, how to his right it's more shadow, how you don't know what this person's even wearing. Again, dealing with the aspect of being mysterious and, you know, not knowing what a person could be.
Nice, this one.
This one's 50 millimeter 1.4. This was at Little Tokyo.
That was a little Tokyo.
Yeah. That one I caught.
It's so
I just
pretty.
caught them walking by. I saw them with a see-through umbrella and I just shot it with the distance.
It was a see-through umbrella?
Yep.
Nice.
This one, same thing. I got them at 7 millimeters. 7 millimeters. I mean 7 meters, and didn't have to ask him. I just, you know, followed with the shadows that were in his car, and I liked the way he had the cigarette and the way his white car was interacting with the background.
7 meters means that you're literally standing 7 meters?
Yep.
70 meters? Oh, okay, cool.
With that shot, I was just walking by the sidewalk. That wasn't,
That
you know,
close?
Yeah. That wasn't a friend, that wasn't anybody, that was just, I just caught that by crossing the street.
I like that. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Like this one, you said you were just walking by too, right? The one that we were using as your backdrop?
The backdrop one?
Yeah.
That one I caught at under the bridge. Damn, I forgot what it was called, but yeah, that one I wanted to go there because yeah, I just saw the spotlight. Nobody was catching it for some reason. This was at TFTI LA.
Oh,
And
okay.
I really liked the way it looked, but everybody was so focused on the street and, you know, the fluorescent lights, and it's like,
And the
that can be
models.
really boring to me.
Yeah.
So I walked over there and this guy was just walking by. I shot it. The line going across, that was originally orange, but I changed it to red because, again, the parallels.
This one's tight. I really like
Yeah.
that beach one.
Oh, the beach one?
Yeah. I like the ocean shots you got too. It made it like a little film, like a mini film, like a day
Oh, yeah.
at the beach.
For this one, I definitely tried to go for that. I wanted to add grain, but I felt that would have taken the person out of the experience.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, again, like, when I was at the beach at the time, when I saw that, like, I immediately knew why I wanted to get it. Because, you know, the mysteriousness of people, like, who could be under that? A homeless
Yeah.
person, you know, just someone at the beach.
So just some random person.
Like that's
It looks like you were right there too.
Yeah.
But this one you were a little far away too?
Oh, this was with a 135 millimeter.
Oh, okay, you were a little
yeah.
way further away.
Yeah, yeah.
But it looks so close. And so clear.
Hmm. With this one too, this was 135. This one was a little harder to get. That isn't a person, that's a shadow.
Oh, that's tight.
And yeah, it was facing through the tree. So I don't know, like I really like this one because I like how the trees are silhouettes, how to the left it's just dark, how you don't know who the person is. And I want people to realize that it might not be a shadow, but it is a shadow.
Where's the person?
The person is behind the shadow.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's tight. But you were able to like play with it so you can't see the person.
Exactly.
Just the shadow, huh? That's really nice. That's really cool. What you drawing over there, Angel? Yes. The queen. I know he's telling me to focus. Look. Oh,
That's right.
you're on the camera.
Untitled.
Angel Untitled. Honey, you need an artist. Oh, because at the end you're gonna see of the girl
Of what?
of your drawing.
I don't know. I thought we
Woman.
were just adding it.
Is it gonna be like a woman one?
I don't know.
They'll see.
That was
I
just
know
adding.
like you said, sometimes when you take the picture, do you always like know why you're catching it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah?
Like, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Every time I'm on the streets, I'm very conscious about what I do.
Okay.
Like, I search for shadows. Like, I was very inspired by photographers who capture shadows like I do.
Uh-huh.
Like before, yeah, I never shot shadows like this, but
Okay.
once I saw it, I was very inspired. And
Don't you
Yeah,
love
like-
that? I love when that happens, where you're just like, oh,
Yeah.
yes, that person found their medium, like
Mm-hmm.
what they like, and it matches to what I like. Cool, you know, it's gonna complement mine, and then you're gonna give it your own,
yeah, exactly.
you know, style. And I think that's like a really important concept, because a lot of people, young artists like ourselves, and not just young people, but everybody, I don't know if they get confused, or maybe I get confused, or there's just a misconception of like, I started it, or
Yeah.
I did it,
Oh,
or
definitely.
it's mine, or this is the filter that I use, you know? But like, how would you say like you need to go about that, where that doesn't faze you, and it's just like you're still creating something so original, but you're still giving like a homage to like the people that, you know, you'll talk about, I like this setting because I saw it here and it inspired me, and now you use it, but you also give it your own, and
Yeah.
so now it's your style. It's the way that people are gonna also recognize your work, right? Because everybody has their own thing, or maybe you don't. Maybe you don't wanna, because sometimes like when we were dancing, like we would choose a song, and if you use the same song, like people recognize like,
Yeah.
oh, she's about to go on stage, you know? But do you want that, or do you just always, because I know you talked about your stories being a little bit fluid, but
Yeah.
specific. I don't know. I think I said a lot.
Well, like, I mean, because, okay, as for my photography, I never tried to, like, I haven't met anyone yet that, like, captures shadows on the street.
Uh-huh.
But that's kind of what I was going for, because I saw pictures of, you know, journalists going to Africa, going to, you know, different third world countries, and, you know, they're capturing shadows, they're capturing people, they're capturing, you know, the difference between night and day. And that inspired me in terms of my photography, because, yeah, like, I never saw anyone try capturing shadows in the city. You know, they usually just capture portraits or characters.
Yeah.
But for me, I appreciate characters, but I once heard someone say something like, take photos like the person you are. I'm not a public person. I'm not gonna approach someone and be like, hey, nice hat, and then, you know, let me take a photo, because not everyone's gonna be kind to you, not everyone's,
Right. Yes.
and things like
I
that.
agree.
So that's why I'm very much in the shadows, physically, mentally, and in my photography, because yeah, like that's the way I shoot. That's the kind of person I am. I like staying on the outside. That's how I've always been, and I sort of like how that's sort of become me as a person, but also reflected to my photography.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And you, I mean, I haven't known you that long, but I definitely like, I could tell that, oh, I don't know, I could tell. It was just like, I don't know, I feel like I understood in the way where like, at TFTI where we would do like, you could do modeling and photography, or you could just go kick it and stuff. This is that like, street photography meet that we've talked about before. And Angel, you know, he supports psycho modeling.
Yeah.
And sometimes he's like, did you take pictures? I'm like, no, because nobody asked, or I didn't ask, or it just didn't happen, you know, because I feel like if a picture's gonna happen with me, it's kind of like because the photographer asked, or because somebody just took it and they'll approach me after. They'll be like, hey, I took this picture. Because I find it difficult. I'm not like, I don't know, but sometimes I am a public person. I'm not shy to be like, hey, would you want to take a picture of me? Even though it's different than being in back of the lens and then being the person in front of the lens. I don't know if the experience is the same, but you're kind of describing it the same, where you're not going to ask somebody to, hey, do you want to take a picture? And I feel like sometimes I don't want to be like, hey, do you want to take a picture of me? You know?
Well, like, cause, yeah, I really understand that, because, you know, I know a lot of people who, like, once you ask for a picture, they pose immediately. I hate that. And, you know, like, no offense to the person or anything, but yeah, like, I like keeping the people natural. Like, a lot of my photography is people being kept natural. Like, I don't, that's exactly one of the reasons also why I don't ask for photographs, because it's very powerful to catch like a homeless person or an elderly person smiling with like one tooth out or something.
Yeah.
But like, that's not how I photograph. I photograph in a way where I like when people are a little bit turned to the left, like specifically, and then, you know, they're talking to a friend on the phone and like they're smirking a little bit, like those little, like, those little actions show what kind of person this is.
Right.
And if he's smirking, like he's probably talking to someone he really cares about, or, you know, someone told him a joke. Like, everything's so dependent on another that it creates a different impression of what the person could be doing.
Right.
Because if you're taking a picture of someone, it's like, oh, what did you guys talk about? What did you guys interact with? Nothing. We just took a picture, and there's nothing in that.
Right.
So if I take a picture of a person, the reason I captured him is because he may have been looking at a girl, or, you know, something that makes them, that brings individualism into the perspective.
The perspective, and then you catch it. That's tight. I know, I mean, that's why sometimes I felt like it was difficult to like step into being a model, because I feel like I'm not someone who knows how to naturally pose or be photogenic or catch a photographer's eye, like, because the way that I usually introduce myself is someone's gonna listen to me.
Yeah.
Not necessarily have that person seen me, but they can hear something that I'm saying, and then that's gonna catch their attention. Or I've interacted with you is when I become alive sometimes in a perspective or a person. And it'll be a really fast relationship, because I mean, when you meet someone in a genuine way, that's just how the relationship's gonna be, you know? And like every picture you capture, like, it wasn't posed, it was caught like as a real thing, you know? It wasn't like you asked somebody, can you create this image or this scene for me? Because I want to see how it's gonna look like, you know? You actually caught it at the moment. So that's really cool. And sometimes, like, that's the kind of photography that I like my pictures to be. And I felt like the one where you took of Angel and I, where we were like kind of like, he was looking at me, I was looking at him. It caught it, you know, in a way.
Yeah.
It still did, just because, I mean, I've been wanting a picture of Angel and I, but that's
exactly why I like that photograph, because, okay, in the first few photos, Angel was looking at Fifi.
And then until you told them.
And yeah, like, that didn't feel genuine at all to me. Like,
Yeah.
so with just that, like, gentle feeling of him looking at you, like, that was enough for me. Like, I didn't need him to smile. I didn't need him to keep plain face. Like, he made the face on his own. And like, he looked like, oh, you know, like, I feel for this woman. And then when it focuses back to you, it felt exactly the same. It wasn't like you had a plain face. Like, it was you guys looking at each other as people.
I like that. So that was a really fresh picture. It's not on there, but it's on my Instagram. If you guys know what you guys want to talk about. But I mean, we have like 5 minutes left to, or about 10 minutes left to our show today. But yet again, I appreciate like you coming on, and I know last week we asked him to come and he's like, excuse me, hold up, I am not prepared, give me a second.
I really wasn't prepared.
But today he was on top of it. And then Angel is also sketching away.
Nice.
And he got to interview you a bit, and today was the first time him and I also interviewed someone. And Vivi slept the whole time, but it's all good. And thank you for having us again here, Yesca Interior. I love, we haven't been posting up our plantitas recently, just because
Most of them from
it's kind of
home.
like the change of weather. I feel like I don't know, maybe summer caught me off guard, and some of my plants got burnt because the sun is way too bright. And so I'm definitely taking care of some plants right now, trying to regrow them to see if we can hit up the next art walk. Maybe by then you'll have like a print or two if you'd like, you know, and we could post up, or you could just come to the art walk, which is a really cool place. I don't know if you've been there already.
I don't think so.
That one is every second Thursday of the month. So it's just the second week, the Thursday. And they post up right there on Spring and Fifth, and a lot of different artists and people go, and it's really nice. I'm sure you're gonna like it. I'm sure you're gonna like it a lot. But yeah, thank you to the Eskwilax Hour. This is episode 122. That's what's up. Thank you, Efran, and our dear friend. I forgot his name for a second. I hope you
Can you hear me, Marco?
Thanks, Marco. For
Marco?
Thanks, Marco.
Marco Polo.
Can you hear me? Oh yeah. So, what do you guys think? We did you guys did the interview. Angel's painting, Tomo's painting. Oh, I don't know if I mentioned Tomo. You guys know Tomo already?
Yes, we met him last week.
Yep.
And another episode before, I think, huh? I like your work, brother. It's tight.
And yeah, you can see his, is that Hokin?
Yep.
They say it right?
Yeah.
All right, I got it right. Yeah, we're like in the last 2 minutes. You got any shout outs?
Well,
Of course.
shout out to _Absurd. You know, he's been he's been there for me for a long time. Shout out to Brave Straps for this strap.
Nice.
And yeah,
That's what's up.
That's
And
pretty
of
much
course, the OG. I don't know if your dad has an Instagram, but I'm sure his pictures are pretty tight, huh? Hopefully one day, like you could, if you find like a picture of his, you should put it up or something like that, just to see, you know.
Does your dad still does photography or?
yeah, he does weddings and, you know, quinceañeras and things like
That's
that.
cool. Maybe if you find a shadow play that he did, I don't know if he likes that one. Would that be tight? Does he do editing and stuff like that?
Yeah, he uses Photoshop. I only use Lightroom.
Is that why you started taking photos? Like he was a big influence, or
I would say partly, but like not completely, because his form of photography, like I wasn't really into it, but he tried getting me into it. He wanted me to, you know, have flash and all these things, but I never really liked that, because
This doesn't have flash, huh?
No.
That's cool.
Yeah, look, it doesn't have the flip flash or anything.
you're
It's just
right.
bare. And yeah, like I don't need flash. Like I don't want to invest in flash. Like it's too artificial for me. And yeah, like I said, like all these photos, like not a single flash used. They were all natural light.
Tight.
You know, just with the 50 or other lenses,
like the Dodgers
and
on the
that's it.
I like it.
Cool, man. Well, thanks for coming through.
Of course.
You guys know Josie and Fifi right here.
He did
Always
the, he did the
sleeping.
Mario upside down.
I know, she smoked too much. That's why I stopped it. I was
Mario,
like,
the Mario. here.
Fifi. Faded. Maybe I was. No, I'm
Thanks for
okay.
reminding me.
No, yeah.
No, I
Great.
mean, I think Josie.
Thanks, Josie.
Angel.
The last minute, not the minute, like last week. Last week was dope too.
Yeah,
'cause
it was pretty
everybody was like, all right, we'll be there this time, everybody this time, and then it's worked out. It just
Yeah.
like flows.
I like that 4:45
That's good.
more. I'm really trying to make it at 4,
Now
yo.
we gotta, we gotta set up like pretty much similar. Like we have Angel and Tomo on one camera. I don't know, Marco, you want to show them?
Tomos. I think we've seen it. Oh, there it is.
No, the other one.
The blue, I like the blue. Blue
Wow,
shirt,
that's real
blue
nice.
ink.
So yeah, that's what they were working on.
You can't see it.
Yes, honey, getting down. I've been, yep.
There we go.
I want a picture of it.
Keep it going,
Kinda
Angel.
like
Get back to work.
that. Get back to work. No. he goes back.
Cool, yeah. We're shout out to Yayo, Drumebox, Jack Jiminy,
Angel,
Ron,
look at me.
Tomwaki. Thanks everybody for watching today.
Yeah.
The Eskwilax Hour, Josie, the Eskwilax, Fifi, Hokin, Angel, Marco. Man, we got a whole squad up in here now.
Yep.
Yeah.
And thank you guys. I'll see you guys next week. And I think we're just gonna keep watching Angel and Tomo paint.
Yep.
for the
Nice.
rest.
And wolf.
Cool. Thanks again, Hokin.
Of course.
Oh,
Anytime.
yeah. Thanks, Efren. Okay.
Now and hear what I will say. I don't speak of prophecy, don't speak of judgment day. What we do see coming, we have seen it come before. It came for our forefathers, yet we speak of it no more. California, Oregon, and Granger massacre. The iron heel is pressing and will crush you neath their feet. You will see the fires burning, then you'll smell the blood. We will fight in the mud. Come all you young fellers now and hear what I will say. The future of oppression, it was written yesterday. Florida to Alaska, black masses coming down, factories ablazing and violence abound. Man maketh machine, he wrote, machine will breaketh man. A tale as old as Moses and a force as old as sand. Come all you young fellers now and hear what I will say. I don't speak of prophecy, don't speak of judgment day. What we do see coming, we have seen it come before. It came for our forefathers, the iron heel will make no more.